This is the Pampanga River, the fifth longest river in the Philippines, stretching approximately 260 kilometers. It flows through central Luzon, particularly in the provinces of Nueva Ecija, Pampanga, and Bulacan, before it continues to flow towards Manila. It originates from the Caraballo Mountains in Nueva Vizcaya and has important tributaries such as the Peñaranda, Talavera, and Coronel rivers. The river plays an important role in the region's agriculture, especially in irrigation, fishing, and transportation. To prevent flooding, the Pantabangan Dam and Candapa Swamp are used as part of the flood control system. Even so, the risk of flooding remains high throughout the Pampanga River Basin, especially during typhoon season. Come and join us as we witness the situation of our fellow Filipinos living in towns near the river and affected whenever it rises. Welcome back to our new video. We are now here between Apalit, Pampanga and Kalumpit, Bulacan. Once again, my friends, hello everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Join me in an adventure we're going on right here in Pampanga. From here in Apalit, Pampanga, we will travel all the way to Kalumpit, Bulacan because that's our entry point to our destination for today. Actually, I saw it in Francie Adventures video. He went to a place right here in this part of Pampanga that made me curious, and I want to see it with my own eyes. Even though we've already watched the video itself, it's really intriguing. So come with me, my friends. Let's go there together because for the first time in my life, this will be our first time visiting low-lying areas. Because as you know, in our adventures, it's always highlands, always mountains. Now, I want to visit these low-lying areas. I want to see what the situation is like for the people living here. Because in the mountains, we already know how people live, how simple their lives are up there. It's pretty different here, isn't it? And here it is. Their path here is a bit muddy because it's low, right? I don't know if it's low tide or high tide right now as of 9:09 in the morning. We're not really used to the schedule of low tide and high tide. Wow, my friends, just here in Kalumpit, Bulacan. Really, almost all of the vacant lots, my friends, are rice fields. Back in my hometown in Pangasinan, the vacant lots are all just grass and It's almost like a forest because of the number of trees. Here, the lots are vacant because they're rice fields. That's it, yes, it's all water, my friends. And that's just based on my observation, right? From what we can see from the drone. Wow. I'm just ignorant about this because back home we're used to the highlands. We're actually in Barangay Bulusan. Barangay Bulusan, Kalumpit. Wow, Probian. On our left side, my friends, it's all water. Previously, there were traces. This place really didn't get flooded before. But now look at this. There, can you see that, my friends? There are trees and then houses. That means it's proof that in the past this place really didn't get flooded. There shouldn't be water there. Because those trees, they were able to grow that big. They only died because they got soaked in water. It's the same over there. Those trees are even bigger. And then there are houses. Wow, right? This road we're passing through, it's really high now. Here, look at this, my friends. It used to be a gas station. Now it just gets flooded. Then, you can see how the road was raised. It's almost a meter high. I mean, half a meter. You know, what happened here is unbelievable. It's the rainy season now. The flooding in this area will gradually get worse. I don't know about summer, my friends. I wonder if those houses over there are still reachable during summer. Crazy, right? I just got surprised. I'm just not used to seeing things like this, my friends. Houses that no one lives in anymore. Because they're submerged in floodwater. Back in the day, people probably still lived there back then. That's why, yan, it's proof of the death of the acacia trees. It means it was soaked in water. Because when a tree is soaked and it's not used to it, it really doesn't grow in water. It will really die. So no, there wasn't even a storm yet. There wasn't even rain that heavy. This is already the situation with the water here. What more if a storm comes?
Here, I just want to
highlight this, my friends. Look at this. This way to Gugu. Donated by, that means this is a corner. But look at what happened to this corner. It's a corner. Then there are posts. Some trees there have already died. That means there used to be houses there before. Wow, and now they're gone. They're gone. The sign that says this way is now useless. No one lives there anymore either. The post, its wires are gone too. Only one is left there. Even the bamboo has died too. Look, my friends, do you see that house? Man, I felt sad.
The house is huge. Then, people used to live there. That's just how it turned out. It was abandoned. Unbelievable, my friends. You can't see anything now, just water everywhere, even on the other side. Big houses are in the middle. People used to live there, but now it's gone. It just ended up like this. Now it's only good for fish farming. There, it's all boats now. Wow, my friends, we're just at the entrance. We're still here at Kalampit, but it feels like my heart is being crushed. There, do you see that? Those are bus shelters. That means the road used to be really low, but now it's been raised. It's really just the road now that the flood can't reach. Even the school, unbelievably. There, on our left side, there are a lot of people fishing. They're coming together as one. This is the school. What's the name of this school? Is this school still being used? Pokmes. There's no stick. There's nothing. Can that still be accessed? The school, I'm not sure if it's still being used for Pokmes. I don't know what POC means. S stands for elementary school. Most of the houses have already been abandoned. This one, my friends, is the high school. We probably already passed by the elementary school. This is the high school. Wow, my friends, I don't know. I felt a mix of excitement and sadness on this adventure. Because I was excited to see the low-lying areas and find out what it feels like, but I feel sad that things are still like this here. While in other provinces in the higher areas, they don't experience things like this, right? It's a shame about the building. Just look at the school. The students there already want you. Maybe the ones studying here are friends, or the ones studying here, my friends. Maybe what's happening now is modular. Santa Lucia High School. So this is Santa Lucia High School. Unbelievable, right? But still, the students and teachers here are back to school. Of course, in situations like this, it's usually modular, my friends. Modular or asynchronous learning. But it's sad, isn't it? The school is in such a sad state. The building. And what's even more pitiful are the young people. They can't study like, in a regular way. With face-to-face learning. Let's continue our walk around the area. Our actual destination is a part of Macabebe, Pampanga, my friends. Let's go to the disappearing road. We must be in a higher area now, my friends, because we can see that the houses here don't get flooded at all. So this is the higher part of the town of Kalampit. We're now in Barangay San Jose. I should remember this. Whenever I pass by this part of Bulacan, whenever I see big acacia trees, I automatically think they're either across from or beside a church. There, we're right beside the church. Maybe that's San Miguel, St. Michael Chapel, because this is Barangay San Miguel. There, a lot of motorcycles are left here. There, it looks like it's a no-go for us. Maybe that scooter belongs to Sir. This is as far as we go, my friends. So that's it. This is as far as we go. We won't be able to reach the bikers park at the end of our route. The road that's running out, I actually saw that on Fancy Adventures. I want to see it. I also want to reach the end of this road, but it turns out we can't really go there. So this is as far as we can go.
That's why.
There, look, there are so many motorcycles. Those are abandoned motorcycles. That's why they're left here. So I realized, my friends, we actually made a mistake. We really got lost. So this is already San Miguel, Hagonoy, Bulacan. We weren't supposed to be here. So let's go back. That's what happens when I don't use Waze. But that's okay. That's part of our adventure. Sometimes I actually prefer getting lost. We get to discover areas, places that we didn't really plan to discover. We should have turned right here earlier. So we'll turn left now. We'll take the road going to Makabibi. Mito Elementary School. You know, it also gets flooded, man. Just look at this. Poor thing. Submerged in floodwater. Oh. Marabi, welcome back to school 2025-2026. Even though it's flooding, we still continue. But that's for sure, right? As I mentioned earlier, synchronous and asynchronous learning. Modular, depending on what the division office implemented. Particularly here in Kalumpit, right here, my friends, is the Barangay Hall of Mito. Wow, there are so many signs of flooding. When this dries up, it'll be so dusty, right? They're making a road here. There, someone's pouring cement. Their cement is thick. That's why there are houses here left and right, my friends. Only the road is really elevated. There's a school and dead mango trees. Linagit Elementary School. It's high tide right now, my friends, so the rivers have already met. The Pampanga River is over there on the right side. Then the sea. There it is. The water is completely level now. It's just shallow. But it's tough if we're using an automatic motorcycle. I don't know if this water is salty or fresh. Sabaki, this just came from, you know, the Pampanga River. Let's hope we don't touch bottom, because if we do, our shoes will get wet. Just be careful. Nothing, it just happened to be high tide. We got caught by the tide, my friends. Let's just stay here in the middle. This is what it's like here at high tide. This is just normal for them, especially during the rainy season. And this is theirs. The water is just beginning to enter here. I just noticed the Pampanga River is even higher than on the other side. That's why they're really going to get flooded here. Global warming's effects are extremely intense now. It's really getting concerning. It's alarming, my friends. It's already very high. The water really is high. They're really getting flooded here. There you go. You know, we didn't do that, Mingwita. Lalim boy. Deep. We've reached the road again where the water is high, my friends. We'll look for a road. We really can't go through there. We'll get wet there. Our shoes will get wet. Yes. I don't want my shoes to get wet. And it's hard if water gets into this motorcycle. It's dangerous. Let's go back. Let's look for another route. Let's go, boy. Unbelievable. Really, there it is. Here, look. This is really how you see it. Looks like we have an opponent. This is the new bridge that was built, my friends. Delta Bridge. Because we can't access it. Over there on the other side, that's where we came from earlier there.
That's where we came from earlier, but we can't get through. It's too deep there for us.
So my friends, the place we're supposed to go to is the Bikers Park, which is at the far end over there. We can still pass through Barangay Balibago in Kalumpit, Bulacan. But it turns out it's really just stairs here, because we also tried that route earlier. But like I mentioned to you earlier, it's really not possible. So if you look at that, the Pampanga River overflowed. And it's not possible in the sense that we don't want it to get wet because the motorcycle isn't even ours. We just borrowed it, it was just lent to us. But if that motorcycle was ours, maybe we would have pushed through. And over there, it's really deep. Only tricycles can make it. We can hardly see anyone riding solo. Maybe we'll just go next time and return with a motorcycle made for it. I'll use our crossover and that's definitely doable. But there's one thing I realized, my friends. The flooding we passed through earlier was really bad. The houses, I feel sorry for the people who own the houses here, my friends, because it's really terrible. in the areas of Macabebe, Masantol, and here in Kalumpit, Bulacan. It's really intense, my friends. When we saw it in the drone shots earlier, even though we already passed the part that was really flooded. Even up to where we're going, our motorcycle really can't make it. So, it was right that we turned around and found a place to park here. Then we saw and got a glimpse of where we're going. It's still really far. Then we could clearly see the mountains of Bataan. What I really realized on this trip of ours, my friends, with my own eyes, I witnessed the real situation of our fellow Filipinos here, specifically in some barangays in Kalumpit, Bulacan, Masantol, and also in Macabebe, Pampanga. Really, you know what their situation is like. It's always flooded there. All day and all night you stay in your house that's flooded. There are people who really endure and don't leave their homes. They will endure that for months throughout the whole rainy season. That's intense. The effects of global warming are really getting worse, my friends. That's why it's so intense. Schools, houses, especially in that area. Everywhere you look while you're traveling, riding a motorcycle, you'll see the flooded houses. Even if they're not completely submerged, at least there's water up to the knees in some houses. That's really an uncomfortable place to live, my friends. Even if the flood water in your house is just 1 inch deep. That's really something. That's such a hassle to deal with, my friends. And what they did with this bridge is really impressive. Delta Bridge. This will be a huge help to the people here once it's finished, my friends. From Macabebe, Pampanga, or even from Masantol, Pampanga, going here to Kalumpit, it's much closer now, my friends. They no longer need to go to Apalit just to access or reach the other barangay. They can use 4-wheeled or 2-wheeled vehicles once this bridge is finished. Delta Bridge. Friends, thank you so much for joining me on our adventure. We only traveled a short distance, but we covered a lot of ground because we kept going around this place. In the towns we visited, Kalumpit, Bulacan, Macabebe, and Masantol, Pampanga,